Welcome to the LongBox Paradox, episode 101, not to be confused with Depeche Mode's 101. Did not like that album, but that's a whole other thing. Happy Halloween to everybody. I hope you have a safe, COVID-free holiday. Like, keep your distance. Wash your hands, even if you're in costume. Or have
Wash your hands.
Nickel gloves.
Check your candy before eating it, because obviously people are going to put drugs in it, you know.
I remember as a kid, there was like a huge thing, like we had to go to X-ray stations in New York to get our candy X-rayed, because there was that whole like thing about people putting razor blades in the apples and stuff, because people used to give out candy apples.
Yeah, when it was really just, I don't know, weird people doing it to their, relatives.
Yes, which that opening of Trick or Treat movie had the poison candy the kid was eating, and also Halloween 2 also had the kid eat the razor blade and cut his tongue open.
Yeah.
Hello, Tony Perez. Thank you for joining us on this lovely Halloween, which seems every year gets pushed to the backside more and more.
I don't know if it's just because it's like me as an adult, where against my own will, Halloween keeps getting pushed back. I mean, this year because of obvious reasons. Last year, today's actually the 1-year anniversary when I moved to Portland.
Oh.
So I literally, I was like, okay, well, you know, we're not really going to celebrate Halloween this year because we didn't really have unpacking to do, but I was like, I guess we'll celebrate it next year, so I'm sorry if I cursed all of us. It's my fault.
Well, they just keep setting up Christmas earlier and earlier every year, too. My stores had it set up for 3 weeks.
Ew.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
It is, especially since now, I have to drive machines around the store, and they're all in my way. They have all the fake Christmas trees up. So we got through a week of nothing happening in comics, or nothing horrible, or
what?
Nothing.
Oh, I was like, there was a lot of good stuff that came
No,
out,
nothing.
Yeah, nothing like
no weird shit happening. DC didn't cancel another distribution company.
I thought that I did hear about some former editors at DC.
Yes, 2 black editors who talked about how they felt because of their skin color that they were pushed to the side. That was in Business Week or Business Insider, not a small publication.
No.
It wasn't in some BuzzFeed article. Hey, Kim, and yes, F Christmas.
You know, I think
if I had kids, I'd like Christmas more, maybe, but maybe. I have no family left or anything, so honestly.
Yeah. I feel like maybe because I don't know, of everything going on, I try to live a relatively spooky life, it's kind of like Halloween every day. So I think that I'm just going to extend Halloween from now until Christmas, so we'll see.
I'd also like to throw AMC under the bus. I love the Halloween movies as much as anybody, but every fucking time I turn on the channel, it's either Halloween 6 or it's Busta Rhymes kicking freaking Michael Myers out a window. I can't get away from those 2 movies.
Those are probably the only 2 movies they have left. They probably signed a deal, we get unlimited play of these movies. And those are the only 2
literally, left. I wake up, I turn it on, I'm like, how do I keep coming in the same scene? And it's always Busta Rhymes going, trick or treat, motherfucker. Excuse me, mother.
Yeah. You can't curse on this show, Dan.
No, on AMC, they bleep it out, or they cut. They just go trick or treat, mother, and cut the other part off. Yeah.
Mother trucker.
They didn't go that far. I remember when I watched Do the Right Thing the first time on network TV. They changed motherfucker to Mickey Ficky. I need 20 Mickey Ficky D batteries. Yeah.
Trying to be clever.
So there was a lot of books this week. Some good, some not so good. So we'll get right into Ten of Swords, X of Swords, whatever you feel like calling it. And it was one issue this week, and that was Stasis. It's little one-shot, middle of the pack, or is this 1/3 of the way through, I guess? Maybe?
No, this would be it would be
Oh, it's
halfway
22.
through.
Yeah.
Because this is, if it's 11 out of 22, then this would be the like halfway point. I love how much of an apocalypse story this is becoming.
Yes.
So this was a really good read. This one was in true like Hickman dump fashion. Like I just love the diagram of all of the swords
I
or the
love that
blades.
there's a giant alligator or crocodile.
Yeah, yep. Where's that one?
Pog or something like that.
Yeah. Something like that. So anyways, this one was really good. I feel like because there was only one issue, it was able to be consistent, where in the last couple of weeks there's been like 3 titles out each week, so the writing sometimes wasn't as consistent, where this one they did a really good job.
I kind of liked how, like, when they're at Saturnine's castle, how they all go to their rooms and they all have the card showing them.
Cards.
How pissed off Apocalypse gets, and then like Cable sees the fool and he goes, "What the fuck?" Like,
and it's like, okay, you kind of are, and you kind of deserve it because you're like a little fuck boy, Cable.
There was one in particular scene that I loved with the Araco, their champions, and he's like, "Oh no, I want you to beg me," and they're like, "Not going to do that." He goes, "But I saw you beg your mother before," and there's that, like, just like shaming them. They're like, "Look, do you want to do this?" And he's like, "Sure. Since you came here, I guess I will." Some of the swords were really cool looking. I will give it that, especially like the badass, like, who looked like they killed the giant squid monster.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of looked bad. Beal the Beast Slayer or something like that.
I can't like mark my pages the way that I mark Dune with the little sticky notes, but yeah.
So I want to give a shout out to John's Comics with Kids for including me in his article with his Ten of Swords theories. Go check it out at Comic Tom 101. Because at the end of the last episode he did with us, we were talking about it, and we're like, the baddie is going to be, I'm not going to spoil it, but we kind of talked about it. Yeah. So it was kind of transparent who it was going to be. It just seemed that way, especially in the last issue where they talked about how the mask can only be worn by someone very strong or else it burns their body out.
Yep.
This was like 8.5 for me. Like, this was like solid as fuck. Like,
so like I said earlier, I would 100% describe it as consistent. This issue in particular, I think I don't necessarily want it to be the high point, but I'm definitely seeing it as like a pyramid, like we're building up to it. This is a really like good point, and then I honestly think that the rest of it is just going to like go from here. Like, we're not going to get a slow build down.
No,
it's just going to be
0
to 100 with these next 11 issues.
I also kind of feel like I'm getting the vibes of the last arc of East to West, where like just everything's happening all at once.
All of a sudden, we're at war. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't think there's going to be very much of a slowdown. I also like the Araco version of Cypher, the tree person, the guy who talks to trees. Like, I thought that was interesting. They have their own version of Krakoa over there.
Yeah.
Which it makes sense now that it wants to merge together and become one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I totally enjoyed this. And the art was like pretty damn solid. Pepe Larraz, yeah, like just some of the pages in here were just incredible. And I really don't like Summoner. Something about him I don't like.
Would you call him a Mary Sue?
He's a little one note for me.
Yeah.
Like, even his lines where he's visiting people, I'm just like, it's a little bland. Whereas like Apocalypse's children, the other ones are like very arch and kind of over the top a little bit.
So you think Summoner will die?
Depends who. I forget who they predict him fighting. I feel like he could be the one that fights Cable.
I could totally just see him dying, because if they're not building him to be a character that we like or that we want to stick around, then more than likely he's going to die.
Yeah, I mean, the showdown in general is going to be Apocalypse versus She Who Weareth the Mask. They call the character's called Annihilation.
Mm-hmm.
So that to me, and also Iska the Unbeaten reappeared.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Little saucy, a little drunk. I mean, we already know who Wolverine's gonna fight.
Yeah.
That's Solemn, who still wars like, oh no, I want him dead. Like, we will kill him. I think that's really all I've got to say about it's hard to talk about without dancing around the spoilers, but I think you should read it and not get spoiled on it, because Apocalypse has like an emotional fucking breakdown during this. Like, he goes from rage to
and it's kind of weird, not necessarily weird, because I feel like in for me, when people are like, oh, like Magneto's the bad guy, like he's not, like I feel like there's an emotional element to him. So I feel like that's clearly how they're writing Apocalypse. So we'll see. I'm rooting for Apocalypse. I really don't know. I'm having an identity crisis here.
Hickman's giving him kind of like a character arc, which I don't think Apocalypse has ever really gotten a character arc. He's always just been, hey, I'm a villain, I'm here, let's fuck the world up.
Yeah, this is my end goal, and you're all not a part of it, so...
Survival of the fittest, blah, blah, blah. What is your first pick?
You know, this was a really, really good week, and I feel like there's a lot that could be on my list. This one's on the top of my list, but Colonel Weird, Cosmogog,
yes,
was one of my favorite favorite single issue comics of the week. He's like a standout, maybe not a standout star of the Black Hammer universe, but I loved his character.
It was a mind fuck.
This was. For anyone, I don't necessarily want to spoil it or give it away too much for anyone who hasn't, like, one, read the Black Hammer universe, and two, hasn't read this up or been able to pick it up. But his character is definitely that, like, aloof grandpa who's just floating in and out of reality, and he's kind of there when you need him to be, but then when he's not, he's just not. And that's just how he is throughout, like, the regular series, without, like, giving up too much. But then in this one, you definitely see I don't want to call it the tragedy, but I got emotional reading this.
The end of it, like, kind of touched me with...
It was heartwarming.
Him walking hand in hand. Like, 100%. Like, it's weird because when we did the Black Hammer book club, I was like, I kind of like Colonel Weird, but he's not the character I gravitate to.
Yeah, but with this, I'm like, I'm all in.
But yours and Gambit's theory was correct, though, of he seems to be whatever age he needs to be. So, very interesting. Tyler Crook, the art was good, as Chaos and Comics was saying. Like, I had the thing when we were doing the Black Hammer series saying that, like, I can't see anybody other than Dean Ormston doing the art. Yeah. But Tyler Crook on this, which I think Tyler Crook, wasn't he on Harrow County?
You know, I got a ton of stuff ready. Not only do I have my list of, like, books that I'd recommend for Halloween, but some of the other ones that didn't make it on my list. And you're correct, Tyler Crook did do the artwork for Harrow County, which was a really, really good book. I feel like Tyler Crook and Jeff Lemire, I feel like their artwork is very similar in style, where it gets, like, sketchy lines that are very stylized, very scratchy, but then, like, watercolory colors complement it well. So Tyler Crook's artwork, I almost thought that it was Jeff Lemire's.
Also, for anybody, if you haven't read Black Hammer, like, get on it. Like, that is a great superhero book, I guess. Like, It is a superhero book, but it's not, like, it kind of is like a breakdown sort of them emotionally and where they're at with their life getting taken from them. I'd say I'm close to an 8 on it. Like I enjoyed this.
I would say, for me personally, I would say like 8.5, 9 on it. Damn near perfect. I don't know how it could get more perfect, like how it could get like a 9.5, 10. But man, it did it for me. I also like, I gravitate towards those like weird old characters like that. Is this character Alan Moore? Because he's like, spoiler alert, like a time traveler.
He might be. He got the beard.
Got to talk to Gambit about that.
Yeah, I bet you Gambit forgot this was coming out and didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
So for my first pick, and this is 100% out of like patting myself on the back, Philadelphia number 9.
Yeah.
Goes more into the story of Jupiter, and also Jimmy and James Sangster together, talking about what's going on with the vampires, and a lot of sass from Jimmy Sr. A lot of sass.
Yeah, this book was kind of not necessarily weird to read, but considering one, the civil unrest that's happening nationwide, and considering events that have recently happened in Philadelphia, it was really weird to read this in like the same timeline, I guess. But obviously this has to do a lot more with like different stuff, and this one has more, spoiler alert, at the end there's more of like a prison outbreak than
yes,
like protests and demonstrations and things like that going on. But man, this was a killer killer issue. I almost said episode.
No Elysium Gardens at the end. They took a month off of that.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed looking at Jason Sean Alexander's artwork. Like 100%, I don't think that we get to see the like museum quality artwork that he produces. I don't think that people give comic book art enough credit for something like that, and his work is definitely worthy of it. But I do think that they're going to come with a funny story next month, because next month would be issue 10, and that would be the ending of the arc.
Nope, they did. It's 6 and 6.
Oh, okay. So
that'd
then
be 12.
Close. So I think that we will get like a pretty good sized Elysium Gardens the next 2 issues then.
Which I believe Rodney had said issue 12. Todd McFarlane's doing the variant. It's kind of a big deal, like. But J. Scott Campbell is doing, I believe, issue 10s, and I forget who the number who has 11, but they had a lot of good variant artists on this.
Yeah.
So when we had Rodney on, he joked. Well, I thought he was joking around when he was saying that there was going to be another historical character coming.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of like a fly in the ointment. And I joked around going, what, are you going to bring Thomas Jefferson back?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a little panel here where his eyes turn yellow. There's before Jupiter could go kill him on that night Jefferson died, there was a bunch of African-American women chomping down on him.
Yep.
And as Jupiter's walking away, Jefferson asks for help. Jupiter walks out, and they show in the very last little panel in it, the eyes opening up yellow.
Yep. So we'll see, what exactly he becomes, what role he has to play. I could see him coming back and playing a role that, because obviously in the, and I don't want to give too many spoilers away, because it sounds like Chaos and Comics in their comments, they are, reading in trade. So I don't necessarily want to give anything away, but I do think that Thomas Jefferson can fill the shoes of John Adams.
Maybe in a more arch way, but he also had a problem with the Adams, and they very much.
Oh, they hated each other. I mean, well, not hated each other, but like Abigail Adams hated him, absolutely hated. So I think that will he be the thorn in her side?
Hello, Rod.
Hey, Rod.
Happy Halloween! Happy Halloween, everybody. This was a very solid. Well, I don't think this was as good as some of the other issues. It was very good. especially with what it did. I kind of thought they were the Elysium Gardens was going to lead into Angela Davis being that fly in the ointment, because
who knows,
Underworld.
she still might be. Really quick for Chaos and Comics, because I wanted to bring this next book up a little bit later, but I just want to make sure that I do recommend it if you are reading Philadelphia. I know I feel like I say this a lot, but if you like things like Philadelphia and Bitterroot and maybe the new series of Watchmen and maybe Lovecraft Country, you've got to read Blue and Green. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, but I want to make sure that it's on your radar. If you like Philadelphia, that you are reading Blue and Green. I will talk about this a little bit later, but I just wanted to mention that.
I'm going to take a page from Jen last week. This is an 8.
Okay.
I got to say it again, like, I can't see another artist other than Jason Sean Alexander doing this book.
Yeah.
It fits perfectly the vibe and mood.
Yeah.
So you're next.
My next, man, I'm telling you, like, this was such a good week. Let me go ahead and pull this one out, because this one, I didn't really know how to feel about it, but Department of Truth, I wasn't sure if I was going to love this series or hate this series, and I'm really enjoying it. This one got super emotional, like where the first issue really sets up the plot. And spoiler alert, it's basically there's this Department of Truth that handles when conspiracy theories get out of control. And what I mean by conspiracy theories getting out of control is when people start believing in them so much that they literally become real. So in the first issue, we see the main character on a plane, and people, for a blip instant, because flat earthers believe in it so much, that there's like this shift in time and space where Earth becomes flat, I guess. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. So anyways, issue number 1 sets up that whole fucking world, and this one gets really emotional, especially with the backstory of the main character.
The backstory of the main character, and then like that whole room, and then getting taken out for pancakes by Ruby.
It's so funny, because on what was that, yesterday, my partner and I were like, okay, let's go like actually get breakfast somewhere. Like, what do you want? And I was like, I want pancakes. And I couldn't figure out why I really wanted pancakes. And now I realize it was this issue 2 of Department of Truth. Read it and go get yourself some pancakes.
Also, we start going into the woman in the red dress. It's very Matrixy.
Yeah, like, is she a friend? Is she a foe? Is she a bad guy?
The interview of the little girl who saw the pentagram faced guy. Give me 1 second. I guess I gotta run to the fridge real quick.
You got it. I'll go ahead and I'm going to keep talking about Department of Truth. So, like I said, in the first issue, which set up, I think that this issue, or this series, is going to be absolutely beautifully paced, because the first issue, we do see a lot of the plot coming through, and in this issue, we do get to see the characters a little bit more fleshed out. We get to see their backstory, some of what they fear, some of what their loves and what their motivations might be. So I thought it was really fun. And we do get to see the scene right here where they're chomping on some pancakes, which I thought was really fun. And that's obviously why I needed to go get pancakes the next day. And this one, I guess because we get to see a little bit more into the department, it gave me more Men in Black, X-Files crossover. And I definitely felt that from the beginning. But man, I highly recommend Department of Truth. If you didn't already, so issue 2, number 2 came out. You should still probably be able to get issue 1, and then issue 2 came out this week. And then hopefully, if you get those, you'll be able to get the trade. I don't know when the trade will come out, but it was good.
Huh. And then, I didn't put that together. That might be Jackie Onassis.
Yeah, that's a good theory. So, Department of Truth, solid 8, 8.5.
I like this. I like this issue better than number 1.
Yeah, especially I think that I think that a lot of people would be put off because it is about conspiracy theories, but it's about conspiracy theories in a non like QAnon, someone yelling at you type way. I think that if anything, it pokes fun at conspiracy theories
Very much.
instead of perpetuating them. So if you are not a big fan of some of the darker corners of the internet where like that stuff goes on, I'm actually like I'm into conspiracy theories, but there comes a point where you can't go off that ledge.
Sex Criminals issue 69.
They jumped forward like 30 issues. And it's the finale.
Yes.
I actually haven't read it yet, so please no spoilers.
Okay, so I felt unsatisfied by the ending.
Oh, want.
It's and this feels like it's happening to me all the time. It was an ending, but like it jumped in time the book itself.
Yeah.
So they're kind of filling in some blanks, and the last page maybe can leave some people guessing, but I felt like it was very final.
I think without being caught up, and to be honest, I haven't read past volume 3, so I think this would end up being the 5th. No, maybe more like the 6th arc.
I think so, yeah.
So I haven't finished it, but I feel like with a series like this is as far as it needs to go. Like, I think that if it went any further, it would either have to get even more ridiculous than it already is, which I'm here for, but I don't think that it would land that.
I gave it a 6.
Aw. Not a 6.9?
No, I couldn't even do that.
What?
I don't know. Like it was very flat. It was like, let's just end this. Which, I mean, Chip Zdarsky's got other stuff going on, so I get like how it's just like we need to end this.
Yeah, he's got to disappoint us with Stillwater.
Well, I was gonna say Daredevil, but
oh, I mean that too.
You haven't read it, so you're
yeah.
Yeah, your next book.
My next pick. Okay, I know normally we do 3, but I'm gonna have to.
Well, this is a heavy week, and we really don't have like movies or a guest with us, so let's just.
And I know you'll talk about this one too, but Bliss. I don't know if this is going to. It started off really depressing, and I don't know whether it's just going up from here, whether it's getting a little bit happier, but I felt a little bit happier reading this depressing, tragic story. I felt a little bit of a redemption arc coming through.
Oh, that part with his wife when he shows up with the gun.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like, people, if you are sleeping on Bliss, you are not doing yourself a favor. This is going to be an 8-issue limited series. So this one's issue number 4. So this one's going to be the halfway point. I really feel like after reading this, I think that Sean Lewis, who I absolutely love his writing. He did Thumbs. He did Thumbs. He also did Coyotes, which I enjoyed. But I think that this is very specifically started off incredibly depressing, kept being depressing, and then this was the first one where I feel like I see a glimmer of hope. So I think that we're going to go up from here.
As a trade, I'm not sure if this will be a better read or not, because like you're going to get like sick, depressed reading.
Yeah. It probably shouldn't joke about it, but I make the joke that I really can't watch movies like Requiem for a Dream. Like, I feel like this is going to leave me feeling like anytime I've watched Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah.
Heavy, but maybe not as R-rated as it ends up getting. But this one, so like maybe like a PG-13 version of Requiem for a Dream for kids.
Oh God. I thought this was like one of the strongest issues. I'm like at 8.5, maybe 9 on it. Like I
Yeah.
felt pretty strongly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like Jen said, like get on this book, like check it out. Like, of course, like if you read number 1, give it one more issue after that because number 1 is so.
It's depressing and it doesn't give you enough information to tell you where it's going.
Huh. First one wasn't that depressing to me. It did feel like Requiem though.
Okay. You've got a stronger stomach than I do, but this is a good series and I wait for it even though I know it is going to break my heart. It's one of those that breaks my heart.
My next book, and bear with me here. Batman 3 Jokers number 3 came out. You fucking did it, didn't you? Wow. Did you read it?
Of course I fucking did. I go ahead, go with yours, and then I'll.
Okay. I'm going to start out by saying, what the fuck was the point of this series? Other than it's a love letter to Killing Joke. I got nothing out of this except for there's a plot twist in there about the Killing Joke. We find out that the only one true Joker was the one from Killing Joke. So I guess it's canon again, because we can't not have it be canon. And look, I like the Killing Joke, but this weird love relationship that they have with it, where they denounce it, then they don't denounce it.
I think they're basically like, you know what? We're already fucking up all of Alan Moore's properties anyways. Let's just keep on going.
Like, I mean, even like thinking about the price per issue of this book.
Like what, $6.99, something like that?
$7, like one of them was like $9.
Yeah, this one's $6.99.
Yeah. But I don't understand what the point of the story was. Like it's just there, and it's sad because like I'm like, oh, Jason Fabok's art's nice. I wish he wasn't trying to imitate Brian Bolland every fucking panel. Like I don't know. Like it just I was really hyped for it when it was coming out because I thought something was going to come out of it, and really nothing came out of it except for this little origin thing for the Joker where Batman's like, oh, I've known who he was since the first time we encountered each other. And here's what happened here and here and here. And, oh, yeah, like, this person's in witness protection. And then Jason's weird, like, I like you, Barbara. I like you. Like, he gets written like a dope.
Yeah, so, like, total himbo, but not even in, like, a fun way. I feel like what happened, why they needed to write this, is because they were like, we don't feel like enough people know Batman's origin. So we've got to talk about it again. Not enough people. There's one person out there who still doesn't know Batman's origin, and we're going to write a story just for them. And we're going to go ahead and do 3 issues, and it's going to be like 20 variants per issue. We're going to pull a Dynamite here, where we only publish like 3 titles, but there's going to be 20 variants for each of them.
Pretty much every Vampirella, like you go through Dynamite solicit, it's just like variant.
Yeah. Vampirella, 10 variants. Vampirella and Red Sonja, 10 variants.
I'm gonna be like at a 5 on this. Like I don't know. Like,
do you feel like at all that because this is only 3 issues, this is the end? Do you feel like this will read better in trade?
No.
More pearls.
No.
100%
no.
Okay.
I just finished it. I was like, I don't understand the point to why this exists.
I feel like we didn't get any real new information. We didn't get any. I don't know.
Yeah, I just I wanted it to be so much more that I wanted it to be relevant. Maybe if it had come out when New 52 existed, maybe it would have been a different story. But as of right now, like, fuck this book.
Yeah.
I can't even give that. It's more like.
What are you gonna do?
Bitch about it.
Yeah, still better than Mercy.
Sit there and go, wow, I spent money on this.
Yeah. It's just gonna go into the 3 long boxes of stuff I need to sell. So.
Your next one.
Let's see. My next one, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about Dr. Aphra. This one.
Fuck.
You don't care about Dr. Aphra?
No, I forgot about it.
Oh, I thought you said you don't give a fuck, and I'm
no,
Dan, the children.
I said fuck, I didn't get it.
It's pretty good. I'm not necessarily going to talk about this issue, because it's just a solid issue. She's just kicking ass, taking names, kicking ass, and she.
You heard about the Disney Plus rumors, right?
No, is she going to get her own series? Because she seriously needs it.
There's talk of it because all of a sudden Darth Vader #3 started shooting up.
Okay, cool. And that kind of sucks because I was literally like, I think that I want to buy Dr. Aphra's first appearance. And then I went to go do it, and it was like $100. And I'm like, man, I just paid that for literally my favorite comic book. I'm not going to do it for this one yet.
Well, so think about was it America Vasquez? Her first appearance is out of control right now.
Yeah. What was her first appearance?
It was Vengeance #1.
Got it.
But I guess there's rumor because they cast a Latinx girl in Doctor Strange. They think it's going to be America since it's the period of the multiverse or whatever.
Yes. She's a really fun character. I think that she brings a lot, and she will bring in a lot of new viewership to this. I think viewership that has been there for a really long time, but viewership that hasn't gotten to see themselves. So I think that America is going to do that, and 2, I think that Dr. Aphra, how I feel about the Star Wars universe right now, and that I hate it. There's not much redeeming qualities for it, and I think that Dr. Aphra is the only thing keeping me even remotely attached to this franchise.
Which they got to be real particular with who they get, because they need someone who can pull off quirky humor.
Yeah. And it can't be someone we know. I think that it's going to need to be a relatively unknown or up and coming.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Disney hires cheap for most part, or gets people while they're still cheap.
Mm-hmm. Locks them in. So, anyways, like I said, I don't necessarily want to talk about this issue because if you haven't been reading it, it's not going to make sense. But she's just Indiana Jones, but cooler, more modern, funner, I think. And so this series overall, and just her character, 8.5, 9 out of 10. Kills it every time.
I didn't get to read it. So.
What's your next pick?
Oh boy. The Unkindness of Ravens #2. Did you read it or no?
I did. Yeah. You can probably tell by the tone of my voice that I enjoyed it. It's still doing that Mean Girls meets The Craft type vibe for me.
Yeah, I didn't love it, but it's not horrible. I think after reading Sabrina and reading this witchy book, I'm like, eh.
This is definitely going to be more PG-13.
Yeah.
I think because in here in this issue, we went more into this book it's using the trope of new girl moves to town.
Looks like old girl that was in town.
Yeah, mom died, and because it was her mom and her sister. So spoiler alert. And now we're seeing oh, your dad, and he went to school here, and I was friends with your mom or whatever. I went to school with your mom. So I think that we're going to see more of that story, which I think is kind of fun. I think, honestly, I wish this trade was already out in time for Halloween. I think that if the quarantine didn't happen and we didn't have like a complete shutdown of the comic book industry, if this could have started to come out in March and we could have seen a trade of this for Halloween, it would be so much better.
I'm at a 6 on it. Again, like, I liked it. I didn't love it. And I think I was like a 6 on the first run, on the first issue too. I will say, if you like witchy books, I recommend, if you want something with a little harder edge, Coffin Hill by Caitlyn Kittridge. A little bit more dark and malevolent, and just, I felt like a better read.
I've actually got a whole stack of witchy recommends. So maybe we can talk about that a little bit later, as like some good witchy stories. I've only got a couple more single issues here I can blow through these, but
I got like a couple more too.
Okay.
Do we just want to do speed round?
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
I'll just go through all of mine, you go through all of yours. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Autumnal 2. This one
That's
came
one
out this one came out the same, like, it's following the same pattern as Unkindness of Ravens. I feel like this one's going to be a little bit more dark, where Unkindness of Ravens is going to be a little bit more twee. This one is definitely doing that. It reminds me of The Plot, also published by Vault. I think this will be a better trade read, to be completely honest. Okay. Next one on my list was Giga. I feel like I sped read through this. I really liked it, and it gave me a lot of vibes of the Inkle. A little bit because of the storyline, not really, but more so because the art reminded me of like a current day Mobius. I really just want to see some big ass robots. That's it.
Yeah, I liked it. It was different. It was interesting. They did fairly good job of unpacking kind of the universe, the world you're in. Okay, I had Ascender.
I completely forgot about that one. For some reason, I didn't have it in my poll. What?
The cover says it all, so I'm not going to spoil it. The cover spoils everything in it. So, it's a pretty strong Telsa issue.
Okay, I'll have to pick it up because I like Telsa.
Then also Death Metal Rise of the New God. I thought it was interesting, at least. Like, out of all of these spin-offs, like, it felt fairly like something that I wanted to read.
Solid.
Although, like, there's some shit in it that I'm just like, fuck, get the fuck out of here. It's absurd. Oh, you just saw his comment. Yeah, I just saw that.
I absolutely love Tartarus, and I agree with you. Like, this one gave me vibes of the Inkle. It also reminded me a little bit of Little Bird, which was a fantastic read and was an Eisner Award winner this year. I'm not sure if this one will meet that same mark, but I'm kind of surprised this title is still going. I would think that it would have ended, but I really enjoyed it.
Nailbiter Returns number 6. Not a bad issue. Anytime I see young Warren and young Finn, Crane, I always like it. Some solid moments with Alice, and the weird fake nail biter in it was interesting. And then they talk about this game they created, which I guess is playing out now.
Yeah.
So now we're starting to get like into a little bit of the suspense again. We're like, but it's still like the absurdity of a sequel.
Yeah. I feel like because I've only read the first volume, I think I tried to get into the second volume and maybe did. I can't remember if I read all of it, but I feel like if you haven't read the first, 6 volumes of this, and you've just read the first one, you can pick this one up and be fine.
Yeah. They're kind of filling in the gaps as they go if you haven't read it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Again, there's some times where the absurdity catches you. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I also weirdly started thinking about Dune.
Okay.
Because the fake nail biter bites his arm off, bites his hand off to get out of the handcuffs. I was like, animal. He be judged an animal.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
I've just got two. I've got 2 more. Dead Body Road. I didn't even. This accidentally got on my pull list, and I'm just keeping it on because I think the next issue is the end of it, and then maybe I'll just like sell the pack and be like, okay.
I got Turtles Last Ronin, but I didn't read it yet.
And then I got Wind #5, which was the end. Loved this series. It's so weird reading James Tynion.
Wait, end of the series or?
Yeah, because this was it was a 5-issue.
Oh shit!
Arc, I believe.
Oh.
I am almost positive. I could be wrong.
Or do you mean just end of this arc?
It could be the end of the arc. Oh, sorry. Duh. On the last one, it does say it will return in May 21. So we will get to see more, but it was the end of the first arc. It's really weird to read something like this that is so wholesome and like fantasy inspired, but for kids, and then go into Department of Truth and read something like that. And then even just thinking about Tynion's other work. But Wind was really good. This one's definitely, I think the trade will be a really good read for kids. Like I could see his kids, John's Comics with Kids. Yeah. I could see his kids really liking this one because they're really into fantasy books. Granted, more like dragons and mermaids and princesses and things like this. But I really think that like his kids would like this.
Did you recommend Transformers, My Little Pony, Friendship in Disguise to them?
No, but I don't know. I don't know if they would like that. They might.
It's My Little Pony. They might. I don't. Depends on the age.
Yeah. So those were all my single issues that I picked up this week. So.
I'd like to send a little hate mail to Blumhouse for edging me with that new Halloween Kills teaser. It's not till next October. Like, come on, man. Like, It was supposed to be out this week.
Yeah. 2020. I don't know. We'll see.
I just saw the teaser. I was like, well, I want to watch this. Why are you showing this to me a year out? Like, I don't. It's going to be like Christmas time. Like, hey, we got a new Dune trailer. Fuck you.
Yeah.
We'll be on Messiah by then, but, whatever.
Alrighty. I've got some witchy books I can talk about. You said if you liked Sabrina, or if we were talking about Unkindness of Ravens.
Unkindness of Ravens, like, or if you want something a little bit more metal.
Coffin Hill was really good. Highly recommend that one. I've got My Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which you should already know about because we talked about it on Book Club less than a week ago. We talk about this one a lot. Black Magic. Detective Witch by Greg Rucka.
Rowan Black.
What else? Okay, so Spell on Wheels was I still kind of recommend it because I do like Kate Leth. Feel like it's Witches for Millennials, which is almost the same vibe that I get from Blackbird, which is like Witches for Millennials and like Magic for Millennials, I guess, because it's more like magic than witchery.
Yeah.
But it's still really good. And then Hex Wives was actually kind of disappointing, in my opinion.
I kind of liked it to a degree.
I felt like this story was more about the husbands than them in a lot of points. Like they took up way too much rent in this book. So I liked it, but I thought that it could have used like way less of them. I think that where they get to in like the last issue should have been the first issue. But for me, totally underrated witchy horror is Redlands. This one deserves a lot more. This one deserves so much more love than it gets. If you want a witchy book and you, Vanessa Del Rey, her artwork is just, it's amazing. I think to me, this is almost a spiritual successor of Sabrina. Like, not necessarily darker, but more grown up. I would also say if you like black magic, then you'd like this. And if you like this, you'd like black magic. So those are some witchy reads.
No witches?
I feel like that story doesn't have enough witchiness in it for me. Or like...
It's more of a creature book.
Yeah, like it's more of like almost like monster haunting.
And Harrow County also is a witch book.
It is. And I had that right here. But those would be like really witchy books that I'd recommend.
I don't think I read a lot of witchy books.
You should, and I've got a list prepared for you. You've read most of those.
I've read most of those though, but like, yeah, Redlands just kind of disappeared. Like it was there and then it was done and nothing.
I also feel like Redlands does not sell the title to me at all. It should have been titled something completely different.
Swamp Witch.
Yeah. If they called it Swamp Witch, I'd be like, I need to pick this up. And I think I had the same issue as Comics and Chaos is because I think I had issue 1 and then could never really get it again. And so I have the first 2 trades. I think those are the only trades for this. So I don't know if we need more of it, but it needed to be titled better.
Redlands, I kind of was just like, because I remember there was another book called Something Lands that came out. It was on another publisher, but I just remember I thought of that book before I thought of witchiness.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate when I screen cap stuff and forget. Okay, so books that are like Halloween related or happened on Halloween. There is in the early 70s a Batman title. It was called Night of the Reaper. And there was a huge thing with it because Marvel and DC, Briggs Land Chaos and Comics, that was what it was. Oh,
yeah. Mm-hmm. But that one was done by Brian Wood. And
it was the land part that always stuck in my head.
Yeah.
So in the 70s, there was this big parade that would go on in Rutland, Vermont. And Marvel and DC writers, both and artists, put the same parade in the book, but different titles. But everybody who was there put it in their books they were doing. This one was a Denny O'Neil, Neil Adams book. And, of course, Neil Adams' artwork was fantastic back then, or it still is. But, sorry. It takes place on Halloween, so it was an interesting issue for me. Also, of course, Batman: The Long Halloween.
This one means a lot to me because I remember my when I was getting into comic books, my high school photography teacher had this one behind his desk, and so of course I read it and totally blame him and this book for getting me into like Batman and into comics in general, other than Sandman. But this like with Tim Sale's artwork is always going to be Batman for me, like that gritty crime. I don't know.
Yeah, it was surprising because, like, I remember picking up because I was like, I don't know, like the cover doesn't sell it to me, and then Wizard did this like huge like who's the killer thing in it, and I was like, okay, let me check out this, and then I was like hooked.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a quick read for such a big book.
It really is. Like I was looking through, there's a lot of like splash pages in it, and there's I mean, granted, like this one has 5 panels, another 5 panels, but they go by pretty quickly.
Of course, the Halloween comics from Chaos Comics. that actually tied together, like that fucked up the Thorn trilogy of the movies with H2O. It was really good, and those issues are really hard to find and very expensive now. There's also a one-shot that was you can only get at the 25th anniversary convention for Halloween, and it was called One Good Scare. And it was Loomis's son, now a psychiatrist in Haddonfield, and then little Lindsay Wallace from the original movie, one of the girls being babysitted, is being stalked by Michael Myers, and he, basically doesn't believe her and thinks she's crazy.
Yeah. Huh,
but
weird.
It was very soft. Well, he starts going crazy too. So, like, it was like he thought it was like a conjoined hysteria that he was getting from her, and he was like falling in love with her. It was really weird, but they were solid, like Michael Myers comics, which there aren't very many of. And nothing to do with Halloween, but read 30 Days a Night.
Oh. Sorry, I got a cat who wants food, and he's just going to bother me.
Yeah,
but that's
30,
okay.
30 Days a Night if you want a good vampire book to read.
Yeah.
If you
pretty
want
good.
Different Dracula motherfucker.
Yeah, that one, it's so funny because we got an advanced of it, and I'm like, yeah, we just got the first issue of it. And that was actually the whole thing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but it was
Short.
shockingly too short.
Yes.
Okay, buddy.
And I don't know if there's more coming out or if that, like, I feel like there should be, but
yeah,
because it ended rather abruptly.
Yeah. There does need to be more.
And, like, I feel like we pound this drum way too often, but, like, read Philadelphia.
Yeah, I've got like all my books that I recommended for like Halloween books right here. Here, come on, buddy. But another one, like, come on, people, Swamp Thing. Like, it's so beautiful.
Someone had put that they call Swamp Thing American Gothic horror.
100%. Especially the pre-Alan Moore run, but especially the Alan Moore, his delving into the psychology of Swamp Thing. I get lost in it. Let's all read Swamp Thing. First, we're gonna read Sandman, because we're gonna read that. But we all need to. If someone else doesn't pick it, I may end up picking Swamp Thing for our next book club read. But first, you got to get Sandman, and you got to read it, and you got to come read it with us on November 29th, which is a week after my birthday, pretty much, but whatever.
With John's Comics with Kids joining us so far, and who knows, we might have other guests.
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows?
And cartoons.
Maybe Neil Gaiman will be on.
And Sid will be joining us for that as well. Whether it's at my house or streaming, who knows? But yeah. She'll be somewhere, but she'll be with us. Really, there's another Scott Snyder book I really liked. Not really Halloween related, but horror, but Severed.
Okay, yeah.
Which I thought was really good, which was like an evil carny going from town to town.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. Of course, like witches. Weirdly, like the Halloween related books, there's not a whole lot.
I don't think Infidel is not Halloween related, but it's definitely like terrifying. I highly recommend this one.
We are starting at volume 1. We're only doing just the one volume. So for now, but yes, we're doing volume 1. John's Comics with Kids is a first time reader of it, so this should be interesting.
Slowly converting people over to Sandman.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of comics that, especially for people who've been reading comics for a really long time, that I feel like they should have read by now. And sometimes when I suggest things and people go back to that, the hype doesn't do it for them, or maybe it's such a classic that it doesn't resonate with a lot of modern readers. But having gone back every so often and rereading Sandman, it's beautiful, it's classic, and it's timeless. So Neil Gaiman, I know you watch the show. You should come and join us. We'd love to have you on.
If you want to see everybody just get quiet all at one time while the start of the show, just like, do I say something?
Oh, that's okay. If he just wanted to talk for an hour, I would listen. I know he said he was going to do a like Halloween reading. So I don't know if he was doing it before or after this or whatever, but we'll see.
John, so far the stuff we've recommended, he's actually liked. We haven't hit him with like have him come back to us going, I fucking hate that book. Not that he'd ever say that, but
yeah. He, I know he said that he was on volume 3 of East of West, and I'm glad that he's reading that, because I think that he gets the like poetry of that story. That one is pure poetry to me. Another, once again, not Halloween related, but man, Ice Cream Man. People have got to read this book. It's so weird and it's creepy. Black Mirror, but Twilight Zone, or The Crypt Keeper, but it's so hard to describe this amazing book.
That Nameless by Grant Morrison, if you want that Event Horizon kind of fucked up book.
Yeah, with like all the weird science fiction horror. So like Aliens, Event Horizon, some of those. I've already talked about all of these to like no end. So I'm gonna push some. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do this one because this seems to be the darling of the day. People are kind of finally getting into it, even though it's only been out for like 2 years. But Something is Killing the Children. Monsters, Erica Slaughter, Kids, Weird Town. I don't know how else to describe it. There's a little octopus plush.
Yes, there is that. Crap, there was a. Of course, I'm going blank on horror books because I did no research and I just woke up. I know I'm terrible. Like I still have to do our questions for the Steve Orlando show. Of course,
Nailbiter. I've got all of these right here. This one I know is one of. First of all, hi Vigilante, how are you doing? And I know this one is one of your favorites, and you're going to be reading it. Something Black Barn, just come to the Black Barn or whatever.
Yikes. Yeah.
It's weird. I can see that Gideon Falls isn't for everyone, but I really like it. So, another Lemire book, Family Tree. This one is only the first 4 issues of it, which is kind of weird, but this one was kind of horror-ish.
I don't consider that horror.
Yeah, it's more like a weird science fiction-y book than horror. I mean, maybe not science fiction. I don't know. We talked about this one a couple months back on book club, but Black Monday Murders.
Lock and Key for me. Also, although it's more psychological horror than anything else with a tinge of fantasy.
Yeah. Go Clean Room, more psychological than like horror, like psychological and cults and aliens and shit. I love Gail Simone. And I love Astrid, the main character. Is she the main character? I don't know, but I just really like Astrid.
Sorta. Her and I forget what the African American lady's name is in the book. Like, she's heavily focused, but I don't remember her name.
Okay. I know we talked about it, but Witches, Cool Haunting, Jock's artwork just really makes this book.
Also, Junji Ito, like some of his books, like actually most of his manga are.
Yeah. This one, I was hoping that I'd be able to get the single issues. wasn't able to ever find them, finally got the trade, and it's published by Boom Studios, and it is Victor Laval's Destroyer. He wrote The Ballad of Black Tom, which I haven't read, but I have heard really good things about. In this book, the child you see on the front is a victim of police brutality, is killed by a police officer, and his mother, who is a scientist, brings him back to life. You said it, I didn't, but yeah. So anyways, I feel like this one doesn't get as much love as it deserves. So his mother, who's a scientist, brings him back to life, basically to kick ass and FSU, fuck some shit up. So that one deserves a lot more love than it gets.
Hellblazer.
Oh yeah, John Constantine.
Yes, that one is definitely Hellboy.
Mm-hmm.
A personal favorite of mine by Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan is Tomb of Dracula.
Okay. I remember getting like a weird volume. I have volume 4 of that. And that's it.
And of course, Afterlife with Archie.
Yeah, especially if you're going to be reading Sabrina, you got to read Afterlife with Archie.
I have not read the Ballad of Black Tom.
Taking Back Racist Lovecraft. Yeah. That's the vibe that I got from it. And I feel like it's been not necessarily compared to Lovecraft Country, but a lot of people who've recommended one kind of recommend the other to go hand in hand. We talked a lot of books, kind of breezing through. If you don't have any other like Halloween recommendations, I do want to take a moment to talk about this incredible book that I read this week.
Go ahead.
Okay. Seriously, Blue and Green was so good. This was so haunting. It is told by the narrator. It's a story told by the narrator, and that's most of the story that you follow through is going to be through the narrator Eric Dieter, and he returns home because his mother passes away. He's got to kind of come to terms with he is a musician and he teaches music at like high school or something like that. And he's kind of got to, when he goes back to see his mother, or he doesn't even get to see her, she dies. So he didn't get to see her as she was dying. He has to confront his past with an ex-lover of his family member his family who kind of hate him for not being there for his mom before she passed away, as well as just all the talent that he had and the potential that he didn't live up to. But it's frightening and it's poetic and it's absolutely beautiful. Blue and Green, if you dig all of the Bitterroot, Philadelphia, Lovecraft Country, all of that, you need to read Blue and Green. Like, seriously. I read this book and it's living rent-free in my brain right now.
Ramvi, I've read a little bit, not a whole lot of his stuff. Dan Waters, I caught Coffin
Bound.
It's so inconsistent. It just
Volume 1 was really good, but Volume 2 wasn't. Or what's shaping up to be Volume 2
isn't as good. Very much in Volume 2 where it's just all over the fucking place.
I read last week or the week before, I finally finished These Savage Shores by Ram V, and it was good, but it's more of like fantasy horror or maybe more like mythological horror than, in my opinion, horror, which this is more like slice of life, just frightening. I loved this. I felt this in my bones. It was so good. So I'm Jennifer, and I approve this message that everyone needs to go and pick up Blue and Green.
Your bones like you did last night watching Phantasm?
Look, Phantasm, it was so weird watching it since we've been going over all the Dune stuff. So 10 times during the movie, I'm like, what's the link between Phantasm and Doom? Like, because not only is there the like faux Gom Jabbar test, but whenever they're in the mausoleum and they're hunter seekers, like you can't tell me that they're not hunter seekers coming through. And so now
hunter seekers.
Yeah, so I just thought that was really fun. Yeah.
The tall man, like, it's such a creepy ass motherfucker. And also shout out to the ice cream man's ponytail while he's balding, you know. Reggie.
What a weird ending, and then he's just like sitting there playing his guitar.
Boy. So looking at next week's books, crossover finally comes out.
Your heads are gonna explode, people. I made fun of this book a lot, and it's mostly because someone else was the punchline and I'm just the joke in all of this. But they were, what's his name? Is it Donnie Cates who's doing it?
Yeah.
He posted something about like doing this big old crossover, and everyone went crazy. And then it's like, we're going to do a comic book called Crossover, and it's about comic books crossing over into our universe. And man, I just felt like I got rickrolled. I was like, I'm done with this, and it hasn't even come out. Read the first issue, and I actually really enjoyed it. It is a love letter to comics. I disagree. It's not going to be the new Watchmen. It's
no. I will get to my thoughts on that next week when we do it, because Jen and I got to read an early advance copy of it, and
buddy.
Thank you, person who sent that to us. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah.
Coffin Bound number 8 comes out,
which should be the end of this arc. Because I think that the first was
it 4 issues? The first,
I believe so. Yeah.
Inkblot number 3. I know you've been kind of enjoying that.
I have. The first issue I was kind of lost, but then the second issue I liked more, and I'm curious to see what they'll do with the third one.
Moonshine number 22, which I've been picking up. Reaver, I did not love. The Becky Cloonan covers are what kept me coming back.
100%. There was way too much dialogue in Reaver to be enjoyable.
The new Watchmen is a callback to a Ryan Stegman joke. Okay. New Watchmen was never meant to be serious.
Yeah.
Hill House just kind of like it just kind of like it started hot and then just kept going down. I enjoyed the plunge to a certain degree, and then Dollhouse. I forget what the whole title was. It was about the dollhouse that was cursed.
There was, what was it? Daphne Byrne.
Yeah.
The Lolo Woods.
Lolo Woods was terrible.
I think that and I'm not giving it any excuses, because like bad writing is just bad writing or whatever, but I think that it also, most of those started coming out pre-pandemic, everything closed, and then we kind of forgot about all of it. And then they so I don't know if just, that weird 2020 publishing schedule, for reasons we all know.
There's a Savage Dragon number 252 second printing Charlie Brown parody cover, which I will probably pick up just because it's a Charlie Brown parody.
Yeah.
It says "Good Grief, Savage Dragon." That Texas Blood number 5. I know you're a huge fan. With 5 different Walking Dead covers for the color versions. Dark Horse, we got the Alien Original Screenplay number 4, which I've really, really been enjoying. Very different. Hidden Society trade paperback comes out. I actually really like that miniseries. Didn't talk about it on here, but I actually liked it. Spy Island number 3 of 4 comes out.
I really liked issue number 1. I did not like issue number 2, so we'll see what issue number 3 does. And I'm glad that you mentioned it is a limited series.
Also, I don't know if this is something you'd pick up. It's Stranger Things Dungeons and Dragons crossover.
I might.
Yeah, because I was like, it's Stranger Things, it's Dungeons and Dragons, and they put the word crossover in it. Maybe they're trying to confuse people. IDW, nothing I pick up. Oh, I know. Never mind. I know what you'll be picking up.
Yep, we're gonna get some My Little Pony Transformers
Issue 4.
Friendship in Disguise, which is a 4. This will be the last issue of it,
Yeah.
actually. Won't.
Yes, the cover is ridiculous.
Because of course.
From Marvel Comics, Amazing Spider-Man apparently is coming out every week now.
Oh.
That is a thing. Black Widow #3 comes out. I don't know if I'm gonna even stay with that. Like I've read issue 2 and I just like had the same thing. Like Captain Marvel 23. I kind of like the B cover by Russell Dauterman, who does the Marauders covers.
Okay. Yep.
Deadpool #8 comes out. And oh boy, there's a lot of just shit here. Marauders #14 comes out, which will be X of Swords.
I was gonna say there's 3 X of Swords titles coming out.
And they show who Magic's fighting on the cover.
Ooh, okay, so I haven't looked at it. So we'll see.
The Anubis-looking motherfucker, Death.
Got it. Okay, so just 2 issues are coming out. So just X-Men and Marauders. Got it.
I didn't get that far down yet.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right. Miles Morales Spider-Man, that has not been good lately. Thor #9. Thor's been solid. There's a lot of crap here. A lot of crap.
Varangian Vigilante is asking about the Marvel versus Aliens covers. Most of the titles I'm not reading. Like, I'm not reading any of them. I do want to pick up the Aliens covers, though, for almost all of them. Like, there hasn't been one that I've seen where I'm just like, I don't like that one. So I may just end up picking all of them up for the covers.
I keep feeling like, is this trying to take the temperature of whether they're going to, like, this year put out an Aliens book, or if they're just going to wait for them to put out another Aliens movie? Because I don't know if Ridley Scott's going to come back and do another Covenant movie. Like, I think he said everything he needed to say in the last one.
Yeah.
Like, androids. The variant for X-Men 14 I'm really liking. It's Apocalypse with his sword just...
Ooh.
Yes. And then the A covers... I guess that's the variant. The B variant is with Cyclops. He's firing his laser. And yeah, so there's 2 of those. Boom Studios. We only find them when they're dead. Second printing.
Okay. I was like, the second issue just came out. They're already coming out with issue 3. Yeah.
There is a book here from Boom called Origins that actually looks interesting from the cover.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it's, post-mankind, 1,000 years after humans are killed off by AI.
Of course.
Oh God. It just fits too. There's just a lot of... This is going to be a not great week.
Every time I think that, and I'm like, okay, this week I'm actually going to end up with less than 10 comics. And maybe that was the Dune week, but I spent almost $200 at the comic book store the week that Dune came out. But that was me because I did buy the Paul Pope and like a whole bunch of extra copies of Dune, including the weird like glory hole.
Lonely Receiver #3.
Ooh, Lonely Receiver's been so good. I know it's not for everyone. It's very like psychologically, it's kind of depressing, but it's good. I
and
get it.
Vampire the Masquerade comes out for you as well.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, this is not going to be a light week for me.
So, okay, since Vigilante Brother, like, Covenant had me so hyped from the trailers. I'm like, finally, we're getting aliens. Like, this is going to be awesome. And it was all about fucking David again. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. You got a big actor in the movie. But for fuck's sake, like, I didn't need robot on robot kissing. Like, I don't know.
needed it. I needed it.
I'm sure people did. I was just like, you sold me a false bill of goods. I didn't get aliens till like near the end. And then, of course, I started in with every motherfucker on this ship is stupid. Why are you on a planet and take your gear off? Same thing with like an Alien or on Prometheus when they go and do that thing. I'm like,
and they just like, yeah. But
everybody's gotta be like touching shit. Like,
is that where your suspension of disbelief ends? Where you're like, I can believe in all this other stuff, but the moment they take off their helmet, it's where I draw the line.
Yeah, because it breaks every kind of like.
Kind of does, like protocol.
Yeah, and also like the Indiana Jones, like that last one, like I flat out like fucking lost my shit when that fridge launched a nuclear bomb and he got out. I was like, all right, man, like this is too much. Prometheus was a movie like I could have watched another hour of it. At the same time, I needed it to end.
Yeah, for sure. Have you watched Raised by Wolves?
Not yet.
Because I started off watching it and I'm like, okay, I really dig this show. And like, it was up here when I first started watching it, and then each episode just goes further and further down. And Ridley Scott has something to do with it, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe we'll get some, I don't know, links between movies or something. And I know that like I highly recommended it when it first came out. I do not highly recommend it anymore.
The Sandman Universe Waking Hours comes out.
I've been loving that one. She's on a quest to figure out who the real Shakespeare is, and it's adorable and it's very, very wholesome.
That giant size Hellblazer Rise and Fall comes out.
Okay, I liked issue 1. We're getting like canonically queer Constantine. Canonically queer Constantine.
Sweet Tooth Returns comes out also.
Oh, that's right. This is not going to be a light week. This is a heavy week. So
AVP, like, it was so tropey. That's what bothered me, but it wasn't horrible. I liked was it Sana Lathan, who is the final girl in it, I guess. I thought she was pretty strong in it. Part 2, I remember seeing in the theater going, why is everything so dark? No, like, it was so hard to see stuff because it was so dark. And, like, I got the Blu-ray and put it on my TV, and I was like, it's even darker. What the fuck? But still, like, Jim Cameron's Aliens is still my favorite out of all of those. Although I weirdly have a weird love-hate thing for Alien Resurrection. The one with Winona Ryder.
Mm-hmm.
It's so bad, it's good.
I think you can go in with very low expectations and just come out, like, entertained.
Because, like, 1, you've got Ron Perlman in it. 2, the villain from The Crow is in it as the hero.
Mm-hmm.
He was also in Anaconda 2. He's been in some fucking great movies.
Yeah.
As soon as I hear that voice, I was like, all right, everybody. You know, like, just want to start doing those, like, arch speeches.
Yep.
There was a movie I saw that I thought was entertaining. Darkness Falls. It the Tooth Fairy. All right, Jen's gone. Predator than Aliens, definitely my favorite. Well, ooh, Aliens would top, like, if you mixed all those movies together and had a ranking, I think Aliens would be my number 1, Predator number 2, Alien 3, and like Predator, the first one, it was basically the Expendables before they were the Expendables.
Yeah.
But there is a part in there I still to this day don't fucking get. Billy gets on top of the log they're crossing and cuts his chest open. And I'm like, why? What's this supposed to stand for? Like, is ritualistic, I guess.
They probably just wrote that in there for like the practical effects, special effects people to do.
They were like, 12-year-old kids are gonna fucking dig this, and then question it later. There's so much just like I watched the documentary of the making because of course I did, and they were talking about how like they'd all like wake up and like go pump iron and just like have these like very homoerotic pose offs, and then they're on a couple of miles and Carl Weathers would just be smoking a cigar. Don't ask questions. The actor was batshit crazy, and he really comes. I do know that part. Yes, he was very crazy, and they had to hire security for him, not to keep people away from him. It was to keep him away from the other actors. Like, Sonny Landham was fucking nuts. Like, batshit crazy. Like, okay, as a comics, like, 100% watch that documentary. Then I recommend going and watching the one for the Island of Dr. Moreau, which is even fucking more insane. And then top it off with the Apocalypse Now. The Hearts of Darkness, because that one, like, Francis Ford Coppola losing his fucking mind and going native. Like Tropic Thunder. I had watched that documentary before seeing that. I was like, oh my god, they're making fun of that documentary so much. So we are just about at the hour-and-a-half mark, so that is a sign that we should... oh, this is a bastard troll behind his public. Yeah, I could see that. I totally could. So gonna wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Really glad for the interaction. Have a happy Halloween, if it's still Halloween where you're at. And
it's probably like morning after. It's
vigilante, definitely. Also, Monday we have the Dune over, if that is something that you're into. We will be Sydney less again, but she's going to post reaction videos.
Yay.
She told me. And Tuesday we have Steve Orlando on for our election counter programming. We're just gonna call it that. It's just that's what I get him on.
Election safe space for the night.
We'll be talking Commanders in Crisis. He was kind enough to send us review copies of his new book from TKO. Did you read it?
I started reading it and it looked really, really good. And I'm like, okay, I need to be focused and read this. Let me put it down. And it's part of TKO's third wave, because I guess they're doing like waves of stuff. So this is going to be part of TKO's third wave.
So we'll be talking to him about that. We'll have chat active, and we'll convey questions that are respectful, of course.
Yeah.
But very grateful that he is giving his time up to come join us, and of course, because we're gonna kind of prepare. I have a couple questions. I have more like broad outlines of like, hey, there's a pandemic that happened. How did that affect you creatively?
Yeah. I feel like more talking points than just like questions. I just want to shoot the shit. That's my journalistic style. Is just let's shoot the shit.
And I know Mars like messaged me saying that he's like a cool, down to earth guy. So like she's met him a couple of times.
Very nice.
So looking forward to that, and just want to thank everybody again, and we shall see you later. Enjoy your movies and your candy. Bye.
Bye.